Margaret and Jessie, those sisters were so brave. Margaret and Jessie, those sisters were so brave. They waded to their shoulders, those lifeboat men to save. If anyone can rescue them, those two sisters can. Those two sisters can. Those two sisters can. Those two sisters can.
The story of the Admiral Prinz Adalbert. On the 27th of January 1883, the Mumbles lifeboat was attempting to rescue the German bark, the Admiral Prinz Adalbert, which had been blown onto the rocks near the Mumbles lighthouse and had lost all three masts.
Conditions were so treacherous that the lifeboat crew couldn't get a line to the ship. The wind was galing down like a buffalo stampede. Fortunately, one of the stranded sailors tied a line to the lifebelt and threw it into the freezing, churning water. When this line was secured, two of the petrified sailors managed to make it to the lifeboat. Save me!
Come aboard quickly!
Help me! Get me off the ship now!
We'll help you, just stay calm. But as the third sailor was being heaved aboard, a gigantic wave smashed against the lifeboat, capsizing it as easily as a man flipping a pancake. Everyone aboard was thrown into the raging water, where the waves toyed with the struggling sailors like a cat with its prey.
Ah!
Help me! I'm going to drown! I'm clinging on for dear life! Save me! I can't hold on much longer! I'm going to die! Somebody help me! This was bad enough, but worse was to come. The lifeboat flipped back over and the grateful men began climbing back in, believing themselves to be safe. The safety was soon snatched cruelly away. A towering wave picked up the vulnerable little boat and slammed it down onto some of the submerged rocks.
Ah! Help me, dear God!
Let my wife know I love her!
Will any of us get out this alive?
Save us! Save our souls!
It was a truly terrible scene. 4 of the lifeboat men drowned, along with the carpenter who had been rescued from the Adalbert. All those who did survive were severely injured, including the cox's son, George Jenkins, whose legs were crushed.
In the end, 2 of the lifeboatmen were still clinging on to their wrecked boat for their dear lives. Who would save these poor men who usually did the saving? Jessie Ace and Margaret Evans, the lighthouse keeper's daughters, watched in horror from the beach as the dramatic events unfolded. They had to do something. Even though they themselves were terrified, they waded into the bitingly cold waters right up to their shoulders to try to reach the stranded men. It was no use. The sea had the men in its vicious clutches and could not give them up as easily as that. What could they do? The sisters had the inspired idea of knotting their shawls together to form a lifeline, and with the help of a gunner called Hutchins, who was stationed at a nearby fort, they threw it in as hard as they could to the exhausted lifeboatmen.
Help me! I can't cling on much longer!
Reach for this!
I'm trying my best.
I'm going to have to let go. I'm freezing. He's got it. Now pull, pull. My daughters are out there. 2 ships sinking. This is the worst day of my life. The sisters and Hutchins managed to save the 2 lifeboatmen, and when the tide ebbed, the remaining crew of the Adalbert were helped to safety. The story of the 2 sisters became very famous through newspaper articles, and they appeared on postcards.
It was said that Queen Victoria had one of these postcards. A poem was written by Clement Scott entitled The Women of Mumbles Head. The lifeboat cox Jenkins was awarded the RNLI Silver Medal and £50, while Gunner Hutchings received the thanks of the RNLI on vellum. There is a memorial window in All Saints Parish Church in Oystermouth.
For this lifeboat meant to save On the 27th of January 1883, the German bark, the Admiral Prinz Adalbert, was blown onto the rocks near Mumbles Lighthouse. The Mumbles lifeboat crew attempted to rescue the sailors but ran into trouble themselves. Only through the courageous efforts of the 8 sisters and Gunner Hutchings did any of the men on both the boats survive. We dedicate this retelling of the story to the men who lost their lives to the cruel sea and the bravery of Jessie and Maggie Ace, Gunner Hutchings and the crew of the Mumbles lifeboat who went to their aid. We also acknowledge the selfless and heroic service the lifeboat crews continue to provide for our safety today.